Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
A very warm welcome to the session, Staying Ahead of the Curve, the Power of Sport. My name is Viren Rasquinha. I'm the former India hockey captain and currently the director and CEO of not-for-profit organization Olympic Gold Quest. First of all, a very big thank you to the Padukone Dravid Center for Sports Excellence for organizing this session. These are unprecedented times in the whole world. The whole world is facing a crisis of the likes never seen before. And we pray for the recovery of lakhs affected by the COVID-19 virus around the world and the millions who are struggling to get even 2 square meals a day to eat. Today, we are here to talk about the power of sport. We have with us 4 very eminent coaches from 4 different sports who are all doing some amazing work at the Padukone Dravid Center for Sports Excellence. So it is my honor and privilege to introduce these 4 coaches from the sports of badminton, swimming, cricket, and tennis. First of all, I would like to introduce Mr. Vimal Kumar, Dronacharya awardee, former India #1, former chief national badminton coach, and also chief coach of the Prakash Padukone Badminton Academy. Warm welcome, Vimal sir, to you.
Hi, Viren. Yeah,
lovely to have you
Thanks.
here.
Great talking to you.
Next we have is Mr. Nihar Ameen, again a Dronacharya awardee, former national swimming coach, and also director of Dolphin Aquatics. Warm welcome, Nihar sir.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Nice to talking to you again, Viren. A pleasure.
Excellent. Next we have is Mr. Karthik Jeswanth, former first-class cricketer, former head coach of the Karnataka state team, and technical director, Six Cricket. Warm welcome, Jeswanth sir. I'm sure we're going to have a good conversation going forward.
Hi, Kiran. Thank you. Hi, Viren.
Last but definitely not the least, we have Jorge Pinilla, a PBI professional, ATP international coach level B, and currently technical director of the PBI CSE Tennis Academy. Hi, Jorge. Warm welcome to you.
Hi, thank you, Viren, for the invitation. And it's definitely a complete honor for me to be part of this conversation with my colleagues. Thank you. Hi, guys. How are you? And thank you very much for the the CSE team to organize all these meetings. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Thank you, gentlemen. So let's dive into some questions. And my first question, I want to throw it at Vimal sir and Nihar sir. It's been almost just a little bit over a month of the lockdown. First of all, how are you keeping yourselves busy and occupied? And secondly, I think you all are the senior most in this group. I would want to know, have you all ever seen anything even remotely close to a lockdown like this globally in your lifetime? I've been around for the past 20-25 years in sport, but I've never seen something where the whole world almost is locked down. Vimal sir, you can go first.
Hi, Viren. Of course, they say this sort of a thing comes once in 100 years, and it can be repeated after another 100 years. So we really don't know. Anyway, whatever it is, it has been, I cannot just describe it, and as a coach, but even as I don't know what the athletes must be feeling, but whatever it is, we have taken so many things for granted in the past, and now really missing life.
Absolutely. And how are you keeping yourself busy, Vimal sir?
Nothing much. I know. I'm just eating well. That's all. And of course, then, and I hope I don't put on too much weight. Doing a bit of some yoga and such things, and just passing time, and then sometimes interact with the trainings. That's what we do. And but otherwise, as far as personally, it is really boring. I'm just looking forward to getting back to work.
Vimal sir, good to see you itching to get back on the court, and we all hope and pray that happens very soon. Nihar sir, what about you? Have you seen something of at this scale in your lifetime?
No, absolutely not. This is absolutely unbelievable. This is something that nobody has ever seen, and this is actually early days. I have no idea how we're going to get out of this. Hopefully, the sooner the better. But this is absolutely unprecedented. That the whole world has come to a complete standstill virtually, and it's scary. But the good news is here in India that we don't seem to be as badly affected as some parts of the world, and that's something to look. That's something that I think is very fortunate for us at this point. And in terms of what I've been doing personally, I've been trying to work on my fitness a little bit. Get a 30-minute walk, a 40-minute walk, a little bit of exercise. That's really important for me. I think I need to do that. And the whole day is pretty much on various Zoom, something like this with either with the swimming federation. We have an educational series going on for about 25 odd sessions. And in the evening, we have some with the Sports Authority of India. And in between that, I've been catching up with the team, things like that. So yeah, that's full days really. Yeah.
That's good to hear, Nihar sir, keeping yourself busy with some a lot of training sessions for this with the swimming federation and catching up on a lot of processes. That's good to hear. Jaswant sir, as we have said before, it's a unique situation. Can you tell us a little bit about how some of your athletes are and their parents are coping at home? Are they able to maintain fitness? Are they able to do a little bit of training at home? You don't want the kids playing cricket at home. The windows would be in a little bit of danger. But what are your kids and doing?
Yeah, I think we're in most of what all you said. See, I think all of us are on the same page now. We are all in the same basket, where I don't think, there is the coronavirus has really brought all of us in the same platform, where I don't think I have an opportunity to do something better than a person who does not have the access to it. So all of us are on the same thing, same page. And like what you heard Nihar and Vimal saying, that what they've been doing, that's all I've been doing, nothing more than that. A little bit of time which I was probably looking from my childhood for something like this, just to introspect yourself as a person, as a coach, to add something to your repertoire as a coach, and maybe as a parent, are you doing the right thing? So the positive thing about this break is that now what my players, like you say, are breaking the windows. Obviously, I pity the position of the parents. But the parents and the athletes also are finding it difficult. Parents, we are of some age and we have seen the world. We can take it a little better than the kids who really wanted to get on with the summer and get going with their sport. So I really feel sorry for them. But I'm sure one good thing is, most of us, the staying at home, I'm sure the health part is going to come somewhere, are all got much healthier because of eating food. India of late in the last decade, with a little bit of disposable income in the middle and the upper middle class, had gotten bad habits of eating outside every second day or every day. So that part, I think, will be a big positive. And I'm sure the athletes, when they step onto the ground, they'll feel the difference of this home food, what they've had. Yeah.
Thank you, Jaswant sir. Jorge, tennis is a sport that requires players to be at utmost optimum fitness levels. What have you seen with kids and parents? How are your trainees maintaining fitness during this lockdown?
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, during this time, it was a good time to, I applied the theory of the chaos, and this is a good time to actually take the negative things into the positive. I wake up one day thinking, if I would be a player training, what would I do during this case, right? And then we come out with an idea of creating a program for the kids where they can be all of them training, and of course, as you say, remaining fit. Right now, tennis, as you say, is a very physical sport, which is a component between aerobics and anaerobic training. So we have to remain a lot of interval training, HIIT, and it was important that, we are using different platforms where the kids can be in shape, but at the same time, utilizing the time to work in certain areas that we don't usually have the time to work on, because when we are on court, we try to maximize the time as much as we can, working in the technical and the physical area, but definitely the creation of the development of an athlete is more than the technical and the physical. There are another area that they need to improve. So we thought this was the right opportunity to improve in concepts, in history, fundamentals, and of course, the fitness part is important for it. So keeping ourselves very busy in this time, actually working harder than ever before, but happy for the progress that the kids have shown so far.
Yeah, thanks, Jorge. Vimal sir and Nihar sir, the next question goes to both of you. As we know that recently the decision was taken to postpone the Tokyo 2020 Olympics by exactly 1 year. What do you think does the postponement of the Olympics means for Indian athletes? Vimal sir, for you, some of the badminton players like say Lakshya that you are training, Nihar sir, for some of the swimmers that you are preparing for the Tokyo Olympics. And can this actually benefit in some way Indian athletes? Can we actually look at the positives over here? Vimal sir, you first.
Yeah, I think I'm quite happy that the Olympic Games is not cancelled. And it is only postponed, because the Olympic Games and in my opinion, even World Cup football, these are all events which everybody look to, and if they cancel that, it would have been a big disappointment. But anyway, it just postponed by a year. But definitely, as far as badminton is concerned, it is definitely benefit us, because many of our top players have not been doing well in the last 1.5 years in the circuit. So and April, this month was supposed to be the last month for the Olympic qualification process, and many of our top players had not really made it to the Olympic Games when it was stopped last month. The tournament were stopped last month, so they will get little more time and to prepare better. Maybe find a chance to make it for the next year's Olympic Games. Because I don't know when the tournaments are going to start, but definitely it has benefited Indian badminton players, no doubt about it. And in fact, for young Lakshya as well, it is an opportunity. He could get into the top 30 in world badminton, and so he's also got an outside chance now to try and make it for the next year's Olympic Games, and hopefully I feel maybe our tournaments will start happening from the month of September or October. That's what I see, and let's see what happens.
And Vimal sir, has the BWF come out with the calendar for Olympic qualification in terms of the cutoff dates now, the new cutoff dates?
See, they are at the moment, they are starting. They intend starting the Thomas Uber Cup finals that is supposed to be in Aarhus in Denmark during August. So they said they're going ahead with that. That is the last they said. But I really don't know. But the way things are going, maybe they might take it further down. And so as of now, nothing is very clear. Many of the tournaments are cancelled, and but definitely it is likely to happen. There will be a directive from the Badminton World Federation soon.
Right. Nihar sir, what about you? What's your experience with the swimmers like? Do you think the Olympics will have maybe a little bit of a positive impact? Does it give more swimmers the chance to qualify for Tokyo?
Yeah. I think it's a big positive for us. Having said that, we are at a slightly bigger disadvantage than most of the other sports, being a water-based sport, and we are not able to get into the pool, and everything, it's directly proportional. And for an athlete, for track and field, or maybe even badminton or any of the land-based sports, as long as they're keeping themselves fit on the land and doing lots of agility and core and all these kind of things, it'll be a lot easier for them to get back. But for us that haven't been in the pool for over a month now, it's going to be quite a challenge. But having said that, the extension period that we have now for next year is a big positive, and it gives our swimmers a chance. Who are actually, so we have some of our swimmers like Viral Khade and Srihari Natraj, who are quite close. We have several other B qualifiers as well in the distance events, but it definitely gives all of them a chance to qualify, much better chance, much more time to prepare. So I think it's a positive for us for sure.
And Nihar, sir, how many swimmers do you think in the entire country are in with I would say, a genuine chance of making it to Tokyo, whether the A qualification or the B qualification mark?
Yeah. So right now, we have a slightly different qualification. You got a B qualification and an A qualification. We've got about approximately six swimmers who are qualified in the B, with the B qualifying time, and so we're pretty close. So a lot of our swimmers are pretty close to the A qualifying, and this will give us, it's a great opportunity for us to get through and make that qualifying time. So this is good. It's very good for us.
Excellent. Jaswant sir, next question for you.
Yeah.
We know that the end of the lockdown is still uncertain right now. Cricket is a very skill-based sport where for something like that, batting, being in regular touch is very important.
Yeah.
I think that the athletes will take a lot of time to return back to their old training habits and routines once lockdown. What do you think? What sort of impact on training routines do you think this will have?
You see, any sport, if you look at it, it stands on 4 pillars: the physiological, the psychological, the technical, and the tactical. So now this lockdown, it is mainly to an extent would have affected the technical part of it, for which reason we most of the time go to the grounds and to up our technical skills. Now, but that is not stopping you to up your tactical skills or your physical skills, physiological skills, because agreed that yes, you cannot go to the gym, but to an extent you can just maintain your fitness. But psychology in a sport like cricket and in I think most sport is an extremely important thing. I would give about 25 to even more percentage towards that. Guy who's psychologically strong can cover up for the technical flaws he has. So now this is the good time. Now your next question of will the athletes find it difficult to come to the ground and find it difficult because it's not the routine? I would say a smart athlete would find it easier because he will have a lot of time to work on things like visualization, concentration, handling pressure, the many things which comes with the sport. Now, my tennis colleague can vouch for this. If there in psychology, there's an important part called the visualization, which I'm advocating all this. See, frankly, the 6th Cricket Academy, I did not expect this to go beyond May. I was thinking that by the next week we'll all be on the ground. But now we've realized that it's not a short term. It is going to be slightly more than that. So we are giving some drills to this our athletes as to what they can do at home in small places, with the help of the parents, and basically do a lot of visualization. Once you do, with visualization, like coming back to tennis, I don't know whether you know about it. There was a time where Lendl and McEnroe were the top 2 guys in the world, with of course Borg and all that. There was a time when the score was 11-2. 11 McEnroe, 2 Lendl winnings. And that is when Lendl started this visualization and literally started playing in front of a mirror, visualizing even McEnroe. And by the time they finished their careers, it was just McEnroe was just one tournament ahead of Lendl. So that is the power of visualization, which comes under psychology, sports psychology. Now the boys, I don't blame them because they don't have time. The sporting calendar is so much that, the cricketers especially, they're not even finding time to travel. So that has become the time. So they didn't have time to think on all these kind of things, like developing their concentration, or, they're weak on a particular thing, outswinger or in-swinger, or in tennis could be the first serve. This is all time for them to visualize and get better at that. And when they come on and execute that on the ground, I'm sure that will be a big help. So to conclude, my opinion would be that if a smart athlete who's going to work on a psychological skills and the tactical skills, I think he'll be better off when he hits the ground.
Excellent, Jaswant. So a smart player will find it much easier and much faster to get back to their routines. The power of visualization, very interesting point. Jorge, next question for you. You have come from abroad to India. Are you in touch with fellow coaches from other parts of the world? How are they coping with the current situation? Any best practices to follow at times like this? Any ideas to share on what your friends and fellow coaches in other countries are doing?
Yeah, definitely. Well, as for the people who doesn't know me, I'm from Colombia, from Latin America. So I have the luck and the honor to be part of one of the biggest companies in the world for tennis management, which is called Peter Bourwash International. Peter Bourwash International, we work in 62 facilities in 37 countries. So it's a company who the recruitment, to get into the company is quite difficult. So most of the professionals, we have different specializations in all different areas of the tennis. So then the current situation, what happened is that most of our company has to be closed because the problem is not only in India, it's global. So this is a good time to get connected all the coaches and do training as well. So yeah, definitely right now, our coaches, our team is getting trained by the other coaches around the world as well. And besides that one, as we create a program where all the kids are working in the psychology part, as my colleague was saying, we have incorporated the psychology sessions out there, active rest, fitness, theory, fundamentals, as well as we have now one international call from one of the coaches around the world to share a little bit of different topics of experiences to the kids that we have in the academy. So far from last week was from Florida, Diego Bastidas, who is one of the best coaches in Florida. He was sharing time about work ethic to the kids. 8 days ago, we have Jose Soto from Spain, who is the director of the Racing Star program for the STA and Peter Bourwash International in Singapore. This upcoming Friday, I actually extend the invitation to all the people who is watching this live, because we will have one of the legends of the tennis in India. He was part of the BAD program and one of the best tennis players in the history of this country, Asif Ismail. He will be with us next Friday, sharing a little bit about the how PBI influenced the tennis legends in the history. And the upcoming Friday, after Asif's presentation, we will have Thomas Biernacki. He was the Davis Cup captain and the Fed Cup captain for Denmark, and also coach of almost 3 top 10 juniors in the world. So yeah, trying to connect with all the coaches, of course, giving the exposure to the kids to learn from different perspectives of tennis, and getting exposure as well to how is the life on tour, the PBI concepts, and a little bit more of better understanding of what is the game, definitely.
Yeah, thanks for that, Jorge. Very, very, very interesting. And I'm sure the session with Asif Ismail as well will be very, very interesting, especially for all the young kids out there. And I think cross-learning between sports is also equally important, because you always learn from and try to pick out the good things that you can learn from other coaches as well as from other sports. So thanks for that, Jorge.
You're welcome.
Vimal sir, the next question for you. Do you think that the lockdown can be compared to an off-season or a sort of a injury period rehab for athletes? And also, can injured athletes use this period as a sort of a recovery period to catch up with competition? We all know in all the sports actually that we are talking about today, badminton, tennis, swimming, injuries happen very often. So can you even psychologically treat this as a sort of a off-season or a rehab period in case they're injured and use it to catch up?
Maybe you can see a sport like badminton. It is very physical. It's very technical. So if a player is going through a major injury, then of course during this period it's a good chance for him to do the right things and recover from it. But if a player has a very minor injury, and then this sort of a long period of lockdown is not really good for the player, because eventually whatever it is, the player needs to be eat right, then do the physical training, especially the gym sessions, physical training sessions, and other things are very, very important for a sport like badminton. So when you don't do it over a period of time, if you're not able to access the gym 4 to 6 weeks, 4 to 5, 6 weeks, then definitely the muscle wastage happens, and a lot of their strength aspects and all will come down. So this is for the elite athletes. So I'm really concerned about that aspect definitely in this period. So my take on would be for the special elite athletes, we have to find maybe ways to get them some access to some, able to do some physical activity and then get into the gym sessions. If it is, I know, this is not the time for the government, even the authorities, this is not the sport and other things is not a priority, but that is required for elite athletes, and especially for badminton players, the top athletes, they need that. So I'm a little concerned about that aspect, and I hope the lockdown we can get rid of it as early as possible.
Yes, Vimal sir. Nihar sir, both Vimal sir and Jeswanth sir have touched upon a little bit on the nutritional aspect for elite athletes. We have all seen that in physical sports, the training loads have come down to maybe less than 50%. If you consider normal times as 100%, in many of the physical sports, it's come down to way below 50%. But we often see that athletes are eating almost at 100% levels. So do you think that that's going to be a very critical role to play? Because for elite athletes, where you want to be maintaining weight, maintaining muscle mass, you want to ensure that your nutrition is right, you're eating right. How important is it for swimmers? Nihar sir, that's for you.
Yeah, it's absolutely vitally important that they maintain their nutritional status at the highest level possible. You see, the problem here is that this is not as simple as one thinks it is, because a lot of the athletes are going through severe amount of psychological stress, and with that comes binge eating, eating the wrong kinds of junk food, eating lots of food with high sugar in it, keeping odd hours. So a lot of our counseling and whatever we've been talking to the swimmers is to see that their diets are regulated, that they maintain proper hours, eat the right kind of food, make sure that they get the right amount of protein. But it's not all bad. There's a positive spin on this. A little bit of this amount of rest that could have been good for these athletes. Somebody who's nursing a minor injury, or swimmers train extremely hard over 300 days plus a year, and it's a very, very tough sport. It's not as easy as it looks. Believe me, you just need to get into the pool to figure that out and do a few laps. When you're training 12 kilometers a day, which is in the water, pounding the walls for 6 hours, 5 hours a day, and doing about 2 hours of gym, hard work in the gym 4 times a week. It's really, really tough. And these guys, when they're not exposed to that kind of hard training, it's quite challenging for them mentally. So they tend to probably spend too much time, online, not sleeping right, and definitely not eating right. So this is something it's absolutely vital. Because if they don't eat right and they don't sleep right, once we come out of this, and I hope we come out of this as soon as possible, it's going to be a problem for us. So it's really important that the athletes do this, and we are trying to counsel them as much as we can to see that this goes well. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to see all the coaches being in regular touch with all the elite athletes on various crucial components of the preparation that goes into elite athletes. Jaswant sir, the next question for you. Very often we see in sports, especially in my sport, hockey, where we see a lot of Indian athletes are overtrained.
Okay.
What would your advice to athletes be on maintaining workloads during this period? And it's tough for them to motivate themselves within the four walls of their home. But what would your advice to be on maintaining workloads?
See, I being a more of a mind person, the psychological person.
Right.
In fact, I'm actually is my video? I don't think my video is on. No, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you clearly. Don't worry.
Yeah, so I am guiding a few of these IPL players who should have been playing now in the next 1 or 2 days, but because of the lockdown. But I had one advice to them, that was, take this IPL out of your head, because you are going to be getting into a situation of burnout very soon at the very early stage of the tournament, if it starts. Initially when I made this comment to the players, it was when the lockdown started. So now currently my advice to them is, keep IPL out of your head, and also train the basic. Of course, you cannot do much in the lockdown period. So just I've told them, maintain their weight. And there is no question of overdoing things now, but because where is the facility to overdo things? So the elite athletes understand this. They know what to eat. They are in touch with the dietitian, so they maintain their weight. And currently their mind space is just relaxed. They're looking at other things in life. They're all people who are adults. Now the problem which I see is a bigger problem in the young children who are doing this, overdoing in a normal situation. Now I would like to use this platform to guide, or I don't know whether the guide is the right word, to tell my opinion to the parents of these young children, young athletes, who the parents are thinking that by removing them from school and putting some new things whichever has come, so where they get a degree, where they just go write exams and all that, and they think that if they work 24 hours a day, they will make it. That is not true. So my advice to these parents using this platform is, please don't take your child out of school. 2 hours in the morning or 1.5 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening is more than enough for a sport like cricket. I will not be able to vouch for the other sports, but for my cricket parents who are listening to this, please don't take your child out of school, because school in itself teaches a lot more things. Okay, by going to school also you may get a certificate of a degree, or you're passed or postgraduate or whatever. Don't let go education of your child, because in a situation now like this lockdown, we have all been talking about when the lockdown is going to open, and we think that life is going to be normal. Now again, to the parents and the coaches and to the athletes, now imagine we have a normal session, and within a week 3 or 4 boys start coughing or having fever. Now as coaches or parents, what do you do in a situation like that? So this is probably not be the same as it used to be before, till we find a vaccine.
Right.
So these are the two things which I'm more worried about, the younger athletes who are quitting this and working throughout the day and thinking that they'll become champions. If there was a recipe like that, everybody would do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Jaswant sir. Jorge, for you, we have seen coaches across sports using a lot of technology platforms to stay in touch with athletes, to stay in touch with their parents. Are you seeing any trends, especially in the digital world? How are you? What sort of technology are you mostly using to stay in touch with athletes and parents? Or here for you?
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, we are using platforms like the one we're using right now to stay in touch with them and doing the courses online. We are using Zoom. Actually, currently Zoom is having some problems, so we started testing new platforms like GoToMeeting, and as well as we are going Google Hangouts. That's another platform we're using. and trying to incorporate and try to promote as much as we can through social media, in Instagram, creating video tips, and of course bringing video tips from different part of the world to keep our clients busy and creating the passion. Now, if you allow me, I would like to speak also a little bit about the last topic. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing I just to clarify. For example, in tennis, we want to pursue in the professionalism. It's definitely it's important to train and train hard and many hours. But I think overdoing has to be also related with one thing, and this is some of my students might be laughing right now because it's something that I repeat all the time. One thing is spending time on court, and the other thing is training, right? So we can be 5 hours and spending time on court and actually not training without a purpose. The most important thing is, you can train 4 hours, 1 hour. Train 1 hour, but with a purpose is better than 4 hours, right? Spending time on court is one thing, and the other thing is training. This is two different things that we have to get.
So Jorge, you mean it's the... So Jorge, sorry to interrupt you. You mean the quality and intensity of the training session? That is
the quality. Yeah, the quality is one thing. The intensity is another thing. And what is the purpose of the training that I'm doing? I mean, what I want to achieve with this. And if I'm just exercising for the sake of exercising, or if I'm just hitting the ball for the sake of hitting, that's not going to take you anywhere, right? So overdoing, of course, is not overdoing. Is taking the awareness. What we try to create as a coach is awareness of what exactly do you need to do and how long it will take to do it, right? So of course there are mistakes like overthinking or overanalysis, and we try to avoid those areas too. But it's important to always set goals, of course, targets, and of course the awareness that is practicing with a purpose. That's one thing, and the other thing is creating the habit. Is of course, I mean, if you are going to, you're going to try the professionalism, you need to have the creation of something that is called work ethic, and it's something that we try to work pretty hard in PBI. Is from the early age, trying to teach them what is the work ethic and what it requires to be professional tennis player. So by the time, it's like a step by step. First, try to create the passion, then the work ethic, then the habit. So because if they don't train hard and if they don't train with the right intensity on the court, for example, by the time you're going to go on court, then the intensity will drop. There are different factors around that it will reduce the performance, like nervosism, the parents, the coaches, the crowd. So training in a high intensity, that will keep you active during the match. So that's very important for them to understand. The intensity is important, quality is important, but also the intention and the purpose of the practice. Just wanted to add that.
That's an excellent point, Jorge. Thank you for the very valuable points. For all the kids out there listening, the purpose of training, I think that's something new that I have learned, and that's so important to understand that very intimately before you get on court. Make sure that we make use of every single minute that we get on court during our training session. Gentlemen, we have around 4 minutes to go, so I will give this last question to all of y'all, and I will request all of y'all to take about a minute to answer this. Can we look at the positives from this entire lockdown? How can we motivate athletes? And do you think that sport is a very powerful platform for inspiration? Lastly, do you feel that sport will bounce back and Indian athletes will come out even stronger from all of this? Vimal sir, how can we look at the positives and motivate athletes?
Yeah, the most important aspect is, we at this point of time, we have to give hope to the athletes. The things are going to get better, because when there is hope, because at the moment, when there is no competitions and such things, it really demotivates an elite athlete. So we need to give them hope, and this is one time, we can insist on them finding some way, whatever the physical training, because they've all been given different workouts and such things to do at home, getting their mind involved, finding that focus. If they can do that, just be focused in whatever they're doing, find that extra bit energy towards that. That's the only way, so, and self-motivation, keeping they have to keep motivating themselves up and look forward to like Mr. Jeswanth said, about the visualization. They can look forward to the competitions happening, and that's the only way, because definitely sport will bounce back, no doubt about it. But maybe, for the elite athletes, we need to maybe constantly interact with them and give them hope. And that way, I'm sure, things will get better in the coming months.
Give them hope. Those are very powerful words coming from Vimal sir. Nihar sir, what about you? What are your thoughts on giving hope to our athletes?
Yeah, so, we definitely have to keep our athletes as positive as we can and talk to them and see that they have a positive frame of mind. But there's something that I am very confident of, because, with my experience, I believe one of the greatest lessons that sport can teach us is, or basically, which is inculcated in these athletes from a very young age, is how to deal with stress, pressure, and adversity. And once this is over, and I hope it gets over quickly, I don't think anybody, simply because, our kids are so used to dealing with this kind of thing, once this is over, I feel the sportsmen are the ones who are going to bounce back the fastest and the best. And that is that augurs well for all of us. And I think that's probably the best thing for us.
Excellent. Sportsmen will bounce back the fastest. Could I request you to say for a word of advice to parents out there who are listening to this?
See, every situation brings up some positive in it. So in this situation, which was new, probably the one-off and the first time when all of us are seeing it, maybe the last time also, hopefully. So, like the positives are, any athlete, let it be any sport, let it be the greatest of the champion, he's always behind the curve. He's always trying to catch up. He's always trying to develop something of his game. Even the greatest of Tendulkar also, till the last day, he said that even the last innings when I went into bat, I was nervous. He had already retired. So that means there is something which he is nervous of. The greatest of the champions will be nervous of something. So this will be the right time to introspect on that. And how do I beat this? So this could be the right time for these kind of elite athletes, and for a junior athlete also who's got any amount of problems. He's got a problem with the short ball, we've got a problem with the moving ball, anything. Now, this tactically he should be able to develop as to how he can overcome this. So these are the few things which I think will help these athletes, and that is if specifically to the parents, like in our academy, in the 6th Cricket Academy, we encourage our children to play all other sport, all sports, not just cricket. Okay, you can specialize a little later when you're 17, 18, you can specialize. But any other young kid who comes, we tell them that go and have a go at another sport, which has a lot of benefits in a particular sport which you're going to finally end up specializing. Now this indirectly, what we are trying to tell our children who come to the academy is, we try to develop them in a holistic way. And this is the time for the kids to develop in a holistic way also. Some kids could be good at sport, but not be good at studying. Their math could be a problem. Science could be a problem. Economics could be a problem. So this is the time to catch up on all those things. And if you look at it this as a positive thing, which I always wanted this kind of time for myself, that athlete will surely come out trumps when this lockdown opens. If you think and go back into the shell saying that, I'm not able to do this, I'm not able to do that, but you got to accept that everybody are not able to do what they want. So what you have in that, if you can excel, you will be ahead of the curve.
Thanks, Jeswanth sir. And Jorge, the last word to you for today.
Yeah, we definitely, in tennis, for example, tennis is a game of emergencies, and we try to teach them how to get out of the problems of emergencies on the court. Definitely this time is the time to actually teach them that the sport is like the life itself. Everything that happens inside of the sport is also happening in the life. And this is the time that actually we are challenged, not only the players, but also the coaches, in terms of emergency, trying to find these different solutions, reinvent ourselves, and of course, trying to keep the dream alive. I am a truly believer that we were not born with passion. The passion was developed. And this is a good time to develop that passion and start creating dreams. So by the time we go back on court, then all the kids can play even with more intention and more enjoying more the time and appreciate more what we have today and that we didn't appreciate before. That's a big word, the value of appreciation. No more than just so far working hard for the kids, for the athletes, and trying to keep that passion, that flame inside. So by the time we come back on court and we destroy it.
Excellent. Jorge, those are lovely words from you. And I would like to take this opportunity to say once again a big thank you to the Padukone Dravid Center for Sports Excellence. A big thank you to our coaches, Mr. Vimal Kumar, Mr. Nihar Ameen, Mr. Karthik Jeswanth, and Jorge Pinilla. I'd just like to quickly summarize by saying we need to give hope to our athletes. Things like visualization is so important, work ethic for the athletes, finding our focus, maintaining our diet. Sportsmen will bounce back the fastest. Use this time to introspect. It's the right time to do that. And sport is like life. We have to constantly try and find solutions. Let's all get together and try and stay ahead of the curve. And I'm sure that sport will bounce back quickly. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you to all our listeners. Best wishes to everyone. Stay safe. Thank you.
Thanks, Viren.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
I hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
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 Thank you.